water refilling stations, manufacturing and processing plants of basic food products and medicines, banks, money transfer services, power, energy, water, and telecommunications supplies and facilities shall be open. In all such open establishments, their respective managements shall ensure the adoption of a strict skeletal workforce to support operations, as well as all strict social distancing measures. Business process outsourcing establishments and export-oriented industries shall remain operational, subject to the condition that strict social distancing measures are observed, their respective personnel are provided appropriate temporary accommodation arrangements by 18 March 2020, and that a skeletal workforce shall be implemented. Media personnel shall be allowed to travel within the quarantine area, provided that within 72 hours from the issuance of this memorandum, media personnel intending to travel within the quarantine area shall secure an identification card from the Presidential Communications Operations Office. For purposes of the foregoing, transit to and from the above establishments anywhere within the area covered by the enhanced community quarantine shall be allowed. Security personnel of the establishments in the contained area shall likewise be allowed to travel within the quarantine area. Number 6, mass public transport facilities shall be suspended. And number 7, land, air, and sea travel shall be restricted. Outbound passengers intending to depart the Philippines from any of the international airports in Luzon shall be allowed to travel for a period of 72 hours from effectivity of the enhanced community quarantine. Inbound international passengers in transit upon effectivity of the enhanced community quarantine shall be allowed entry subject to applicable quarantine procedures if coming from countries with existing travel restrictions imposed by the IATF. All inbound Filipino citizens, including their foreign spouse and children, if any, holders of permanent resident visa and holders of 9E diplomat visas issued by the Philippine government shall be allowed entry subject to applicable quarantine procedures if coming from countries with existing travel restrictions imposed by the IATF. The movement of cargoes within, to, and from the entire Luzon shall be unhampered. For this purpose, guidelines for the accompanying crew or personnel of transiting cargoes shall be formulated by the Department of Transportation. Land, air, and sea travel of uniformed personnel for official business, especially those transporting medical supplies, laboratory specimens related to the COVID-19 and other humanitarian assistance shall be allowed. And the Department of Social Welfare and Development and Department of Labor and Employment in coordination with the Department of Finance, Department of Budget and Management, and Department of Trade and Industry shall formulate programs, projects, and measures for the social amelioration of affected workers and residents of the area subject of the enhanced community quarantine. These measures may include, but shall not be limited to, moratorium on lease rentals, advancing a prorated 13th month pay, reprieve in utility bills, and assistance to micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. The DSWD is further directed to institute measures to expedite the distribution of food assistance to the most affected residents of the entire Luzon. Failure to abide by the foregoing guidelines and measures shall be subjected to appropriate action, both criminal and administrative, in accordance with relevant laws and regulations. For this purpose, the Department of Justice is directed to initiate appropriate charges as may be warranted. The IATF, together with the Executive Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, Secretaries of National Defense, Environment and Natural Resources, Trade and Industry, Social Welfare and Development, Finance, Education, Agriculture, Chief of Staff of the AFP, Heads of the Philippine Army, Philippine Navy, Philippine Air Force, PCG, and the PNP, and such other agencies or entities as the IATF may invite, shall continue to convene daily to study and continuously review the measures and guidelines in addressing the COVID-19 situation until such time that the health event subsides. The IATF, through the DOH, is directed to disseminate information to the public on the steps and measures to be undertaken relative to the COVID-19 situation during the period of enhanced community quarantine for the entire Luzon for immediate compliance. Thank you very much.
Can we have Secretary Anyo or question and answer? MPC? Maricel?
Sir, good evening. Sir, just a clarification about the suspension of mass transport, meaning LRT, MRT, bus, and jeepney, wala po talaga.
Yes, that's correct.
Pero yung mga private vehicles are allowed to travel. Pwede po yun.
Yes. But only for those who are exempted. Kasi
Okay,
may
what
mga
is
exemptions tayo sa public and sa private establishments. For government, meron po tayong exemptions, di ba? Especially the frontline services. And then sa private establishments, meron tayong mga exemptions. But mass transportation will be suspended.
Meaning, sir, yung mga private cars of ordinary people, they are not allowed to travel. Even if they are going out to buy groceries, food supplies, and medicines. Not allowed.
No, they will be allowed subject subject nga to do yung exemptions, 'di ba? So nakasulat dito yung basic necessities like public markets, supermarkets, groceries, convenience stores. So those will continue to operate. So therefore, you may go to them if there's no public transportation, then private or you'll have to walk.
And yung mga allowed, sir, na bumiyahe, like yung mga health workers and mga PPOs, same pa rin po yung requirement. Like they just have to show their IDs or certificate of employment. Wala
Yes.
pang changes.
Correct.
Okay.
The idea here is to keep everybody on home quarantine. We try not to dwell dun sa mga exemptions to the rule. In fact, yung exemptions, ang ano natin dito, ang mindset dapat natin dito is in case of doubt, stay at home.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anjo and then Joyce.
Good evening, sirs. Sir, can you walk us through how did the President reach the decision to declare and enhance a community quarantine? I understand several CABSECs have already recommended lockdown. Why not lockdown?
Meron lang tayong nakita naman ninyo, even in the previous declarations, meron tayong general community quarantine and then meron po tayong enhanced community quarantine. So we never use the word lockdown, like I said, because this is a technical term. And we try to use a technical term and a medical term because this is a medical emergency. This is a public health emergency. So we only use terms that have a definition. At ang definition nga natin ngayon from a generalized or general quarantine, community quarantine, nandito na po tayo sa level ng enhanced community quarantine. And the reason why we're going to an enhanced community quarantine, like all of the indicators show us the need to, including yung declaration ng pandemic ng WHO, including yung mga rising cases natin, and including the fact that many of our LGUs anyway have already begun declaring their own LGUs as community quarantine. So therefore, by declaring an enhanced community quarantine in the entire island of, the entire Luzon, then all LGUs now, pantay-pantay na yung ating mga, kumbaga lahat na tayo, nasa common ground na po tayo ang buong Luzon.
Sir, I understand meron tayong, ayun nga sir, may general community quarantine, then nag-progress tayo to enhanced community quarantine. Many are wondering, may next step pa ba doon? May next phase for that?
We'll take it on a day-to-day basis. So right now, like we just announced, na daily po mag-meet, mag-assess po ang ating IATF to study the numbers, to look at the COVID-19 cases, and to determine yung on the ground, make adjustments kung ano yung mga nakikita nating realities on the ground.
Justice Secretary, sir, so the people will not be alarmed. What will be the basis for them to be arrested during these times of
Right. Considering the gravity of the present situation, our police and other law enforcement agents may effect arrests against violators, arrests of violators under any of the following laws. Number 1, Article 151 of the Revised Penal Code on resistance or disobedience to a person in authority. You will please note that this offense is punishable by arresto mayor and a fine not exceeding 100,000 pesos. If committed with acts of violence, then the person may be liable for direct assault. And that is a much more serious offense, which is punishable by prisión correccional or a fine of not more than 200,000 pesos. Number 2, any violation may also be punishable under Public Act number 11332. This is the recent statute, and this is entitled Mandatory Reporting of Notifiable Diseases. And the provision that is penalized is that one for non-cooperation. And the penalty that may be imposed by the court if found guilty is a fine of not more than 50,000 pesos or imprisonment of not more than 6 months. And there are also penal provisions under our Quarantine Act. And the penalty would be more or less the same as the more recent statute on mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases. So this will come into play only pag talagang mayroong serious resistance or disobedience to our law enforcers. So I plead with everyone to just simply give your cooperation. And this is something that is temporary. This is for the good of all of us. The police officers and supported by the armed forces are not the enemy. They are not there to harass us, but to protect us.
Okay. Thank you. Joyce and then Pia.
Secretary Nograles, you've mentioned that every day naman may meeting yung interagency task force, and this is in effect yung nabanggit po natin na enhanced community quarantine until April 13. Does that mean po pwedeng hindi umabot hanggang April 13 yung implementation ng enhanced community quarantine?
Yes.
Pwede siya mapaikli?
Pwede siyang mapaikli if the circumstances warrant. No? At ayoko rin sabihin, pero pwede rin humaba. Depending nga sa situation. That's why it's on a day-to-day basis assessment.
How will this coincide, yung strict home quarantine, with the curfew being implemented by or being enforced by LGUs? Ba't hindi na natin sinama yung...
Superseded na siya ng curfew because curfew is back to home ka pag sinabi mo curfew. But this time, it's strict home quarantine. So superseded na yung mga curfews that were being imposed by the LGUs. So this is now strict home quarantine. Wala nang curfew na pinag-uusapan because... kumbaga, sa words pa ni Secretary Anyo, 24 hours curfew na ito because ang general rule is stay at home. if you leave your home for these establishments to buy the necessities ng bahay ninyo, only one person ang pwedeng bumili.
And then,
Hindi pwede isama yung buong pamilya. Hindi pwede dalawa yan. Dapat isa lang ang bibili. Because again, ang general rule is that home quarantine muna tayo. Wala munang galawan except for these necessary industries, no, and establishments. And of course, yung vital government services. Gusto natin yung walang galawan kasi we want to stop the virus from spreading. So put it in your head that the general rule is stay at home.
pero sir, yung idea, for example, of a curfew kasi, di ba, may limited hours, meaning anyone from the family, sabi, kahit isang member of the family can buy necessities even beyond 8 p.m.
So, I know what you're saying, pero siguro we will ask the establishments also, perhaps in the next, maybe tomorrow, we will ask establishments to close at a certain time, perhaps. No, it's something that will take up para pag magsarado yan, then you have no business already being out of your home.
Sir, dun sa meeting ng Interagency Task Force, napag-usapan ba yung recommendation na magkaroon ng isang place lang for all COVID-19 positive cases para mas confined? Was it discussed or was it approved by the President?
It wasn't discussed, but may I ask Secretary Duque?
Hindi po
State
ito napag-usapan sa IATF, pero ganun pa man. Ito po ay napag-usapan, in fact, nung nagkaroon ng hearing sa Cámara del Representante. This was, I think, last Wednesday, last week. So, tinitingnan po natin ang Lung Center kung pwede siyang maging COVID-19 hospital. But ang sabi sa akin ng Executive Director, si Mr. Vincent Balanag, medyo sa ngayon mahihirapan dahil meron na rin silang mga pasyente na kahit na hindi siya, meron siya mga COVID-19 patients. In fact, sabi niya meron pa siyang 15 available isolation rooms. Ngunit yung iminungkahin ko nga sa kanya mula sa Congress na kung pwedeng gawin specialized COVID-19 hospital. Sabi niya mahirapan sa ngayon dahil marami pa rin sila mga non-COVID-19 patients. So, kailangan talagang planuhin ito maigi saan ilalagay itong mga non-COVID-19 patients. Conceptually, okay naman to consider this. But the operationalization needs further study.
May gusto rin pong idagdag si Secretary Anyo.
On the part of the local government, kasama doon sa aming memo circular yung pag-identify ng isolation unit. This could be a private house, this could be a building, or this could be one condominium. Depende sa kakayahan ng local government unit. Sa mga COVID patients na positive na asymptomatic or with mild symptoms, kaya siyang i-accommodate ng local government unit at sa designated isolation unit ay doon lang ilagay yung mga pasyente kasi asymptomatic naman ito. Para ang ating hospital magko-concentrate na lang sa mga mayroong mga serious symptoms na kailangan talaga ng interventions.
Okay. Pia?
Okay, Secretary Nograles says, Sir, you said that outbound passengers shall be allowed to travel within 72 hours from the effectivity of the quarantine. Ibig sabihin, sir, land, air, and sea travel po ito.
This says outbound passengers intending to depart from the Philippines from any of the international airports in Luzon
So,
shall be allowed to
international.
travel for a period of 72 hours. Napag-usapan kasi ito because ayaw natin, baka meron mga gustong pumunta ng abroad. No? Gustong iniiwasan po natin yung mga masa-stranded na mga pasahero. So ito yung mga napag-usapan namin sa Interagency Task Force kung paanong treatment natin na sa airports, mga tourists na gustong umalis ng bansa at bumalik sa kanilang mga bansa.
What about yung mga nasa Luzon, sir, na gustong umuwi sa kanilang mga residents sa Cebu, for example, or in Mindanao?
No more. No more. As we said, that falls under mass public transport facility shall be suspended. sa number 6.
Sir, yung inbound passengers, they will be allowed to enter Luzon until when, sir?
Inbound international passengers in transit upon effectivity of the enhanced community quarantine shall be allowed entry subject to applicable quarantine procedures.
So until when, sir? Wala naman time.
Secretary Anyo.
This provision is applicable to Filipinos and holders of permanent resident visa. Sila yung pwede nating tanggapin, but they'll be subjected to a mandatory 14 days quarantine.
So, sir, to be clear, sir, after 72 hours, no one can go out of the country from Luzon, sir?
Yes. Go out of the country, international, yes.
Sir-
But again, the general rule is mass public transport facility shall be suspended. Yun po yung general rule. Exception to the rule na yung number 7.
Sir, will we be closing the borders of Luzon? Kailan po mag-i-start yan, sir?
Yes. Tonight, 12 midnight. 12 midnight.
So, sir, ano na po yung mga naging paghahanda po natin?
While we're speaking, the entire Philippine National Police is already discussing their protocols and their procedures para dun sa implementation ng enhanced community quarantine of the entire Luzon.
Kay SILG, Anyo. Sir, up until kanina, nung nag-uuwian po yung mga tao, may mga checkpoints pa rin po kahit na-announce na yung enhanced community quarantine. What will happen to the checkpoints around Metro Manila, sir?
Well, ang mangyayari, iba na ngayon magiging configurations. Mayroon pa rin tayong uniform services sa mga key positions, key strategic areas. Mayroon tayong mga roving patrols. At kasama natin ang governors, mayors, barangay captains na mag-i-implement itong ating enhanced community quarantine. So nakatandem yan yung ating mayor, yung ating chief of police, at saka yung ating local military field commander. So sila yung magpapatupad nito in the entire island of Luzon.
Sir, I'm sorry, marami pong questions, sir. Kasi you said that yung mga health workers will still be able to go to work, yung mga BPOs. How will they get to work, sir, kapag suspended yung public transportation?
Yes, initially kasi ganito, inano namin yung lahat ng public transportation. And then, from there, each LGUs will determine now the requirement. And then, LGUs can provide transportation. We can also require some public utilities to operate certain numbers of vehicles that is commensurate to those who will use. We don't want to open all public transportation because that would actually encourage people to move. Our objective is to restrict movement of people to the maximum. So nag-a-adjust kami habang pinatutupad natin ito.
Siguro to clarify everything, no? Ano na to parang ang ating natin dito, ang situation natin dito is it's as if calamity, 'di ba? So in a calamity, suspended, walang transportation because there's a calamity that happened in a certain zone. So that is how we operationalize now. That's why we're on a state of calamity.
Sir, marami nagtatanong. Sir, TNVS, sir, papayagan pa Grab, Angkas, no?
No more.
Taxi.
No more. Public transportation suspended. Like I said, as if calamity, it's on a state of calamity, so public transportation in a state of calamity, suspended yan because of the calamity, correct? So this is where the LGUs come in. Dito yung papasok yung coordination natin with the LGUs to provide the means for transportation, especially dun sa mga exempted.
Sir, can you enumerate ano po yung mga establishments that will be allowed to open? So we have groceries, we have supermarkets. Yeah. What about restaurants, fast foods?
Restaurants, yung kolatilya lang natin sa restaurants is it's supposed to be food preparation and delivery services. So not restaurants sit down, but restaurants, not even restaurants, it's food preparation and delivery services. So magde-deliver, hindi ka pupunta dun sa establishment para kumain at mag-upo at kumain. It's for delivery. The mindset, the idea is that instead of the person going to the market, it's the delivery person delivering to the home. So mas less ang movement kung ganon.
Delivery services will be available, sir.
Yes,
Grab
food
ganyan.
preparation as limited only to the food delivery.
Ace?
Sir, may Grab food delivery, Food Panda. So, open yun, sir.
Ang iniisip kasi namin, it's the establishment that is delivering. The establishment that's... Again, like I said, in case of doubt, no. In case of doubt, no.
Ace?
Secretary Duque, ilan na ho ba yung na-test natin for COVID since we started yung testing?
Almost 1,000. Close
Almost
to 1,000.
1,000.
Oh. I was trying to open my PUI summary, pero hirap-hirap lang Anyway, mga ganon, 1,000.
Okay.
Oh.
Kay Secretary Nograles, kasi may mga nabanggit na mga exemptions, yung BPOs, export, and then we have health workers. But then we also suspended public transport. So how can they go to their workplaces? For example, they don't have their own car.
Kaya nga sa BPO, if you notice that the conditions for the BPO is that by March 18 of 2020, they must provide appropriate temporary accommodation arrangements. Otherwise, they will not be allowed to operate. Because again, we are trying to limit the movement. And so, Secretary of the DTI, Mon Lopez, has committed to the IATF that he will reach out and talk to the BPO establishments and the export-oriented industries to operationalize this directive.
How about yung health workers, yung media? Paano sila?
Like I said, we're trying to limit the movements here. So we cannot say open ang public transportation for certain people because that's very difficult to control anymore. So again, when in doubt, stay at home.
Okay, isa na lang po. Pinapaklarify lang. So yung foreign travelers leaving Manila will not be allowed after 72 hours from midnight to night?
Because yung based on the discussion sa IATF, those who really want to leave will really leave within 72 hours. Those who cannot, then they have to make up their minds. Do you leave or do not leave? So we have to put a time limit, and the 72 hours is the time limit.
So otherwise, stuck sila dito?
Yes.
Stranded sila dito?
Not stranded. It's by their voluntary, that's their choice. Voluntary choice.
So may
nila.
leeway sila mag-rebook
Yes.
nung flight, yung 3 days na yun?
Basta ang iniwasan po
72
natin,
hours.
ang iniwasan po natin ay may mga involuntarily stranded here. So we're giving them 72 hours to fly. So that we assume that after 72 hours, it is your decision to stay here.
Salamat po.
Okay, Mela, and then Maricel.
For CABSEC Nograles, I know marami rin pong media na nagmo-monitor today. Sir, just to clear, paano po yung magiging sistema for media accreditation?
Yes, so sa media accreditation, kaya ng sinabi natin, again, within 72 hours, you are supposed to get an issuance of an identification card, no, to be issued by the PCOO. So ang PCOO naman, meron naman silang sistema for accrediting media, accredited media personnel, even for the entire Luzon. And the reason that we're doing this is in order for us to facilitate and help the implementation of the community quarantine, enhanced community quarantine, especially in the enforcement ng PNP. And I think we'll probably give Secretary Andanar a chance to explain.
Thank you, Sir Carlo. Again, we reiterate the media can avail PCOO/IPC media ID so they can continue with their day-to-day work informing the public. All media workers must obtain their identification cards from the News and Information Bureau. I will now give you the details of how to do this. Special media pass for journalists covering different beats in Metro Manila during the state of public health emergency will be issued by the PCOO through the International Press Center. For those interested, please send through these email addresses: intlpresscenter@gmail.com or ipc0182@gmail.com. And these are the following requirements. Number one, letter of request from your respective media agencies. And number two, a passport size photo. The contact person is Lorena de los Reyes, and you may contact her on 0918 979 2861 or 5336 6095. In the meantime, all bona fide media IDs will be honored by the Philippine National Police for the next 72 hours. So it is very important that all media workers in Metro Manila submit their credentials to the IPC. And also to add to that, we discussed at the IATF na merong gagawin na 4 na live points ang ating PTV, kung saan itong mga live points na ito, doon pupunta yung mga miyembro ng IATF kung meron sila mga public address. So ito yung mga live points. Number one, here at the Palace, the press briefing room. Ang ikalawa, dito sa NDRRMC, sa Camp Aguinaldo, at pwede rin sa Camp Crame, Palitan. Pangatlo, sa tanggapan ng Department of Health. At yung pang-apat sa PTV. Now, we are doing this so that those media organizations that are very careful also na ayaw nilang mahawa ng COVID-19 ang kanilang mga media workers ay pwedeng mag-hook up lang sa PTV4, mag-hook up din sa Radyo Pilipinas. At we also have arranged for a virtual presser. Pwede rin kayong magtanong through the internet using Skype or what have you. And you can also call our live points by phone patch. So yun lang po. Thank you.
Question? Maricel.
Secretary Andanar, clarification lang. So does it mean that once you're a bona fide media practitioner, automatic na na-approve yun? Hindi naman siya, like, we won't limit the representative per TV network or media organization?
Hindi po, kasi naintindihan po natin na halimbawa sa isang dyaryo, hindi lang naman yung reporter ang kailangan. Mahalaga din yung mga technical staff, yung nag-iimprenta, yung mga editors, yung mga photographers. The same way sa television, yung ating mga engineer na magpapatakbo ng ating mga transmitter. Lahat po na ito, this is a long value chain of important people na nagpapatakbo ng ating industriya. So that's why I said media workers. So as long as merong requirement na ibibigay, yung sulat galing sa ating mga tanggapan at yung passport photo.
Okay, so PCOO will not deny any media practitioner for as long as they have complete requirements?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Secretary Anyo, clarification lang po. How are we going to address the issue on the slum area? Kasi di ba, we want to implement yung mga social distancing, pero paano yung mga ganong lugar?
Well, talagang yan ay malaking challenge, but they have to follow social distancing. Meron tayong magro-robing doon, may mga iikot doon, barangay officials, LGUs. Kailangan talaga i-implement, pero nasa kanilang pagdidisiplina din kailangan talagang sumunod. So it's really a challenge, but kailangan din ang information dissemination para malaman nila kung ano mga dapat gawin on their own personal effort. So tuloy-tuloy yung ating info campaign sa mga lugar na ito.
Kasi sir, for example, doon sa Payatas area, yung isang bahay nila, 11 agad yung tao. Sometimes they sleep nang nakaupo. So, are we going to provide, let's say, areas for them to stay?
Well, kanya-kanyang initiative ng LGUs, no? Kaya nga ang key talaga dito, ang mga local chief executives. The president is the chief executive. Sa mga bawat political subdivisions natin from the province, municipalities, barangays, they have to do their job. Now, stay at home. Kung halimbawa sa isang bahay ay naka-quarantine sila doon sa loob at wala namang infected doon, okay sila doon. Now, kung halimbawa may mag-manifest ng symptom doon, papasok na naman yung ating barangay, yung Barangay Health Emergency Response Teams, dodalhin yung person under monitoring or person under investigation doon sa isolation unit. So, doon sila papasok doon.
Secretary Duque, meron na po ba tayong concrete plan doon sa test kits? Because I understand medyo kulang po yung test kits natin ngayon. So, meron na po ba tayong ginagawa for that?
May 3 pong panggagalingan ang karagdagan test kits natin. Kasi sa ngayon, puros galing sa WHO. Ngunit, alam naman natin na may global supply chain limitations, no? So, ang UPNIH ay meron pagkipag-ugnayan sa isang pribadong sektor na pinangungunahan ni Dr. Destura. I think you've heard about this person. At meron nga silang na-imbento na rapid diagnostic test, PCR based. PCR, ibig po sabihin, polymerase chain reaction. Ito po yung parang pinakamakina na nag-fingerprint ng COVID-19 virus. Para sigurado na katulad ito nung galing sa Wuhan. Ang unang plano dyan ay patatakbuhin yan parallel with the RITM para masiguro ang accuracy and the measurement of accuracy is actually 2. Number 1 is specificity of the test. Ibig sabihin talagang for COVID-19 siya, hindi kung ano-ano mga viruses na iba ang pwedeng ma-pick up, and sensitivity. Ibig sabihin nun, at a certain concentration ng virus, dapat ay napipick up na niya kahit na mababa pa. So once all of these are satisfied, and after say 200, 300 parallel runs are achieved with high level of confidence as to the results, pwede na natin i-roll out yan sa atin UPNIH lab or sa Lung Center of the Philippines lab or doon sa 5 natin sub-national laboratories. So, kanina may dumating, Friday may dumating na 500 test kits from the South Korean government. At kanina may dumating na 500 yung last Friday, magdadagdag ng another 5 to 10,000 this week. Tapos yung sa China naman, dumating yung donation, 2,000. And then by Wednesday, kung walang problema ngayon, by Wednesday, another 10,000. So, unti-unti, nagkakaroon na tayo ng maraming mga kakayahan o rapid diagnostic test. Pero syempre, ang kailangan po dito, masiguro natin ang kanyang quality, yung kanyang accuracy.
And once na ma-ensure na yung accuracy, do we also plan, sir, na magkaroon ng parang ginagawa sa Korea na drive-through test for all. Kaya bumaba yung kanilang mga cases.
Yung sa South Korea kasi, dahil sila mismo ang nag-manufacture ng rapid diagnostic test, ang kanilang kakayahan ay hindi bumababa sa 15,000 tests a day. So kung ano man yung atin nakuha dito, talagang mga excess lang na nakiusap tayo para mabigyan. Ganun pa man, kung ang atin sariling test na ginawa ng UPNIH at saka yung Health Tech, isang pribadong kumpanya, ay mapalawig natin ito, ay hindi magtatagal, makakapag-test tayo ng mas marami.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, DCBB and then from? Okay.
Sir, good evening po, Secretary Nograles. Sir, Manny Vargas po, DCBB. Sir, magpapatanong lang po yung iba sa mga listeners namin ngayon. Nabanggit po yung banks. Kasama rin po ba yung bangko sa bukas at yung mga money remittance centers,
Yes.
yung mga pera padala?
Yes.
Paano daw po, siyempre hindi po kasama sa exempted, yung mga taong lalabas, would they be allowed para po pumunta sa bangko or dun po sa mga pera padala centers para kumuha ng kailangan nilang pera or magpadala ng pera?
Yes, banks money transfer services will continue. So these are part of those basic necessities.
Opo.
So patuloy pa rin po bangko and money transfer services.
Opo. Sir, meron din po nagpadala rin po, sir, listener namin. Sabi naman niya, may payment daw po sa BIR, VAT. Hindi ako familiar. Paano raw po yun, sir, yung mga BIR payments?
We will make the pronouncement when the time comes. We have to discuss this with our economic team muna with regard dun sa BIR. So one step at a time muna tayo.
Apo. Sir, tapos kay Secretary Anyo po, sir. Nabanggit po kasi kanina doon sa statement po ni President Duterte about yung karinderya. Saka po yung sari-sari store. Alam naman natin, sir, na pag iskinita, malilit ang kalye, minsan mas mahirap pigilan yung paglabas po ng tao at any given time. Paano po natin magagawa yun na ma-ensure na malilimit din yung paglabas nila or mapapakisuyuan na magsasara sila pagdating po ng curfew hours?
Yes, so ililimit talaga natin dito sa delivery service. No? Kasi, halimbawa, sari-sari store, ini-encourage mo yung mga tao na pumunta dyan. So, dapat ang tao nag-stay at home. Kaya nga, delivery para nasa bahay lang talaga yung tao. Yung karinderya, kung meron siyang delivery service, okay din yun. Pero kung pupunta yung tao na ng pakakain, hindi pa pwede yun.
Sir, finally po, I don't know kung si Secretary Andonar or kayo po, Secretary Anyo, better na sumagot. Alam ni Secretary Andonar to, yung roving reporters po, meron po bang guidelines doon po sa limitation ng coverage po ng media during this time? Yung pupunta kami sa mga borders or sa mga kung saan man nag-ooperate ang mga police, or kinakailangan lang po, ang allowed lang sa amin is from sa bahay namin, papunta po sa mga opisina namin.
Ang si Secretary Andanar actually ang mag-manage sa inyo. Merong daily reporting pagkatapos at least mayroon tayong tinatawag na daily checking of your vital signs also to make sure na okay kayo. And then alam din dapat ni Secretary Andanar yung area na i-cover ninyo para may coordination din sa enforcer.
As long as after nung 72 hours na binibigay sa atin ng DILG at ng PNP ay makapagbigay tayo o makakuha tayo ng ID mula sa IPC, because that's the only way na pag meron ka ng ID, hindi ka nasisitayin ng police after 72 hours. So dun sa mga roving, sa mga night beat reporters, graveyard reporters, they can still go around and gather their news. Pero kailangan lang na magpa-check sila araw-araw doon sa kanilang kumpanya or doon sa police station na kung saan sila tatambay. And at the same time, I think it's your civic responsibility to wash your hands and also be hygienic.
Thank you po.
May tanong muna dito si Henry Uri. Yun daw po sa mga advertiser nila, pwede ba daw ma-exempt sa quarantine ang mga employee and distributor ng mga medical supplies, especially alcohol and sanitizers? Yung distributor daw po ng kung exempted din sa quarantine.
Basta mahulog sila sa number 5, nakalagay naman dito, food and medicine production.
Ang advertiser hindi.
Ang advertiser, hindi naman. Like I said, when in doubt, no.
Yung mga medtech ba sinasabi mo? Yung mga 50%?
Can I make a clarification?
Apo.
Isa sa mga exemptions ay ang pharmacies or butika, di ba? So, normal lang na itong mga alcohol dapat doon ay pwedeng mabili, hindi kung saan-saan. Salamat.
Okay. Si Margo.
Good evening, Health Secretary. Given po yung mga donations natin ng mga test kits from South Korea and sa China, magiging sapat na po ba yung test kits natin para mas mabilis yung pag-confirm ng mga cases ngayon?
Yeah, paligid ko magiging sapat kasi unang-una, meron din tayong pondo na 240 million na inaprubahan ng Economic Development Cluster last week. At 6,000 per test, that's 40,000 is the target testing capacity. So that will require a budget of 240 million. That's, of course, on top of the donations coming from South Korea and China. So, mapaparami na po ang ating kakayahan, mapapalaki ang kakayahan makapanuri ng throat and nose swabs ng mga persons or patients under investigation.
Sir, clarification ka lang din. Yung may mga symptoms lang po yung pwedeng makapag-test.
Sa ngayon, dahil nga meron tayong limitasyon pa, yun lang muna ang priority natin. Kailangan kasi ma-rationalize natin yung testing in the face of limitations.
Sir, last na, yung kay Senator Zubiri, bakit po kailangan niya makapag-test ng twice to further confirm his condition na positive siya sa COVID-19? Kasi ang sabi niya, after 10 days, magkakaroon siya ulit ng test and he's hoping na negative po yung result.
Yeah, ganoon naman po yung protocol natin at ito ay susundin natin para makapaniguro tayo na wala na yung virus sa kanyang katawan.
So, lahat po ng, kahit mga ordinary patients, sir, twice po natin na-check o chine-check kung confirm sila sa COVID-19.
Meron kasi itong history of exposure with 2 other persons who had a exposure to a positive COVID patient. One of the resource persons, they had during one of their hearings, I think about early last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay, thank you. Joyce and then Ian. Pia, last 4 na tayo. Pia and then Ace.
Sir, just to emphasize na open yung mga supermarkets and yet hindi po pwede ang mass transportation. And then yung nabanggit nyo kanina, Secretary Nograles, maglakad na lang. Paano po yung location if, for example, talagang malayo dun sa particular household yung supermarket and then only one person from the family is allowed to go? Hindi po ba mahirap yun? Will the LGU should be providing transportation for them?
Maaring pwedeng mag-ganon initiative na lang siguro ang LGU.
Pero
that could be an option. Like I said, mahirap mang gawin, no? Itong mga guidelines na to. Pero kailangan nating gawin. Kailangan nating striktuhan ang lahat ng mga ito. Otherwise, kung magbibigay tayo puros ng mga exemptions, ibabalik rin po tayo dun sa maraming galawan. So, humingi po kami ng paumanhin. Ito'y ginagawa po natin para sa protection ng bawat isa.
And you also mentioned, sir, that food assistance will be given to poorest families in the communities. Paano po natin gagawin yun, sir, and yung process nun, and what kind of food assistance we will be giving to them?
So right now, state of calamity na po, no, ang entire Luzon. So because of that state of calamity, then yung mga iba't ibang mga LGUs can also declare a state of calamity within their LGUs, respective localities, para sila po ay makatap na dun sa kanilang calamity funds, no? At ang QRF nila, ang quick response funds po nila. And based on that, then it is incumbent upon the LGU, no, to first be able to be the first responders dun sa mga constituents po nila na kailangan natin mapangalagaan in terms of yung mga marginalized, no, and impoverished communities natin at ang ating mga constituents. So like I said, ang mindset po natin dito, kumbaga, we are under a state of calamity. So ang operationalization is as if yung LGU is under a calamity. So tulad ng kung may nangyaring calamity po sa inyong LGU, alam naman ng LGU kung anong dapat gawin.
Ano po yung specific na food assistance? Bigas? Ano po yung particular na matatanggap
based dun sa LGU, meron naman tayong mga food assistance packages na alam ng LGU anong gagawin, no? And then, just like in a calamity nga po, just like in a calamity, the LGU already knows what type of food packs or food assistance ang ibibigay nila sa mga constituents nila na affected by the calamity. And then, mag-augment po yung DSWD. So, even si DSWD now is already preparing yung mga calamity and food assistance packs that they usually use in times of calamities. So, yun po ang magiging effect po ng state of calamity. And yung pag-operationalize natin nitong mga ito. So, in other words, yung mga may kaya, yung mga may means, will have to provide for their own means. We will have to prioritize those who have no means, just like in any calamity.
To Secretary Duque, pinapatanong lang po. As per the WHO, all nations have to be ready with respirators and oxygen as we expect the need for these as COVID cases to rise. Do we have an inventory?
Oh, yes, we do. Hindi ko lang memoryado. Pasensya na po. Hindi ko maalala. But kasama po yan sa paghahanda. Yung pagsusukat ng kakayahan ng atin pong mga ospital na makapangasiwa ng mga critical or serious COVID-19 infections. So, mahalaga po yan dahil pagka nagkaroon ng tinatawag natin massive pneumonia or acquired acute respiratory distress syndrome, ay kailangan i-hook up sila sa respirator dahil on their own, hindi nila kayang huminga.
So, we guarantee that we have enough supply?
Well, as of this time, yes, I think we have enough supply. But we still don't know to what extent the transmission or the rate of infection will go.
To Secretary Anya, pinapatanong lang din po. Are we going to impose a gun ban?
Actually, hindi na nga pwedeng lumabas yung mga tao sa bahay. So, automatically, kahit na walang gun ban, wala na rin pwedeng gumala na mayroong barel. At kung halimbawa, mayroon sa exemption, the rule of the law will apply. Kung wala siyang PTC, hindi siya pwede magdala ng barel. So, sa ngayon, nakikita natin na maximum talagang limited ang movement ng mga tao. Dapat lahat nasa bahay ngayon. Mandatory home quarantine tayo lahat.
Okay. For Secretary Duque, kay Belia Carriazo, exempted daw po ang BPO pero yung health cards nila nagbigay ng notice just now na di daw po covered ang pandemic like COVID.
Gobyerno na lang ang mangangalaga kung sakasakaling kinakailangan silang ma-ospital. Pero patitignan ko yung policy nila with the HMOs kung baka naman meron na kulatilya doon na masyadong maliit yung letra, baka yun ang lagyan natin ng, basahin natin maigi, baka meron na opening for additional protection.
Well, you also have PhilHealth, di ba? Yung commitment ng PhilHealth.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yung PhilHealth pala ay meron na inaprubahan din ng Economic Development Cluster or EDC sa halagang 420 million pesos. This is to cover for isolation benefit package at 14,000 pesos each. So that's the PhilHealth contribution to the national government response. But of course, the 14,000 doesn't end there. because assuming any of the patients who are under investigation might develop moderate pneumonia, the 14,000 plus 16,000 moderate pneumonia benefit package, so that's 30,000 pesos. In case the moderate pneumonia deteriorates into a massive or serious pneumonia package, which is 32,000. So, malaki. Plus, kung lalagay mo pa yung 6,000 peso testing na times 3, on the average, 18,000. So, 18,000 plus 16,000 plus 32,000 plus 14,000. It's about 58,000.
Okay. Ian?
Apo, Secretary Duque, good evening, sir. Sir, pinapatanong po, dahil wala pong public transport, wala rin yung mga TNVS, paano daw po halimbawa nagkasakit yung isang tao, paano siya makakarating sa ospital? Sapat pa yung mga ambulansya natin?
Oo naman. Marami naman, lahat man ng ating mga ospital may ambulansya at meron din ang Philippine Red Cross. Maraming ambulansya ang Philippine Red Cross. So, we complement our ambulance capacity with that of the Philippine Red Cross. In fact, pati yung mga tents ng Red Cross ay available for the use of our hospitals for setting up triaging sites within the grounds of the hospital.
So wala pong dapat ipangamba yung mga walang sasakyan na magiging mga pasyente?
Wala naman dahil gaya ng sinabi ko, meron naman tayong sapat na ambulance service.
Apo. Kabsec, ang BPO exempted, Ang POGO po ba, may operation pa rin sila ngayon kahit po, siyempre, meron tayong enhanced community quarantine?
Hindi namin napag-usapan. So, kung hindi namin napag-usapan, then close. Wala siya sa aming wala siya sa mga establishments na napag-usapan namin. So, like I said, in case of doubt, no. And then we'll just, siguro, like I said, day-to-day nga ang aming assessment. So, day-to-day magkakaroon tayo ng panibagong mga resolutions.
Thank you po. Sec Martin, marami rin po nagtatanong, yun bang mga media vehicle exempted na? Paano po yung private vehicle na mga media naman?
The private vehicles, Kabsec, ano bang ating okay? Yes, according to the DILG Secretary, pwede po yung media vehicles at yung private vehicles ng may-ari na miyembro ng media. And I'd like also to answer some questions from FOCAP dahil nagtanong sila about their IDs. Would their IDs suffice? Yes, even the IDs of the MPC would also suffice. I understand na maraming expired na ID sa inyo. So within 72 hours, lalabas na po yung mga IDs ng MPC at ng FOCAP.
Sec, yung mga editor, yung mga anchor, doon naman sa mga dyaryo, yung mga nag-layout, at maraming pang ibang personnel, like sa engineering, doon sa loob ng mga opisina, yung mga satellite man, yung mga lineman, kasi sila po ba exempted din?
Lahat po ng media workers. Basta ang gawin niyo lang po ay mag-submit lang ho kayo ng requirements para mabigyan ho kayo ng special ID ng International Press Club.
Pero may tanong din dito.
Gusto ko lang siguro dagdagan yung social distancing lang po sa mga media. Hindi naman kayo exempted sa social distancing, no, sa mga media offices ninyo. I just wanna point that out. Otherwise, tayo rin po mahihirapan po dito.
So that's why we highly recommend virtual presser.
Yes.
Kung yung iba sa yes.
Regarding sa vehicle ng media, as much as possible yung business or company media vehicle. Pero kung talagang hindi maiwasan, lagyan din ng media sticker yung private car nila.
Secretary, kasi usually ginagamit lang naman yon, halimbawa from house papunta dun sa company, tapos sasakay ka na ng media vehicle. Kailangan pa po ba?
Hindi, ang ibig sabihin, dapat yung private vehicle na gagamitin nyo, sama may sticker din ng media para alam ng enforcer na taga-media kayo and then tsaka kayo i-check.
Secretary, may tanong lang dito. Paano daw po yung mga journalists sa provinces? Paano sila kukuha ng accreditation?
Ganun din po. Ang gawin po nila ay mag-email. Email po nila yung kanilang mga requirements dun sa email na binigay ko kanina. So ulitin ko po yung email address na dapat ho padalhan. Itong intlpresscenter@gmail.com or ipc0182@gmail.com. Magpadala po kayo ng letter of request from your respective media agencies at passport size photo.
Okay, thank you. Mag-last two na tayo. PN Ace?
Kay Cabsec po. Sir, to be clear, sir, yung deadline ng BIR tax filing is still April 15.
Yeah, so without any announcements, then ganun pa rin po. Without any announcements, then we'll stick to that deadline.
Sir, you said that you will, the IATF will be talking to the economic team.
We cannot guarantee anything. So let's just assume that it will stay. Because ayoko rin pangunahan ang maging desisyon ng task force.
But will the task force recommend at least extending the deadline?
We will submit to the economic teams, di ba? Siyempre, they will advise us and then the task force will decide. I don't want to speculate.
Sir, kay Secretary Duque, sir, yung mga nurses and caregivers who do home care for the sick, kasama din po ba sila, sir, sa exempted?
Yes, because sila yung nangangalaga sa mga may sakit, so automatic kasama sila sa exemptions.
Sir, patanong din po, as of now, sir, our mortality rate in COVID cases is almost 10%. That is reported confirmed case vis-a-vis yung reported death. Hindi po ba mataas yun, sir?
It's about 8%, 12 over 142. It's about 8%. But it's only high because we have not done enough testing. We have limited testing capacity, especially the past several weeks. But now I am confident that with many testing kits arriving, and many have already in fact arrived, we will be able to pick up more positives but mild cases. So that the number of deaths will be further diluted by the growing number of positive cases.
Sir, marami pong ninervyos dun sa case ni Senator Subiri kasi asymptomatic siya. What's the possibility, sir, na marami pa pong mga cases or ang hindi pa nare-report?
Well, sabi ko nga, hanggat we do more massive testing, hindi natin talaga malalaman kung ilan pa ang positibo. Pero natututo naman tayo sa mga karanasan sa ibang bansa. Na ang global case fatality rate as a 3.8%. Ang ibig sabihin lang po nito, yung 80-82% ng COVID cases, mild. Yung mild, yung iba halos walang symptoms. Yung 15%, ito po yung severe to moderate to severe. Tapos yung mga 5% would be critical. Ito po yung talagang malubha ang kanilang komplikasyon. May ARDS or acute respiratory distress syndrome. At mula dito yung mga 3 hanggang sabihin natin 3 hanggang 4% niyan ay mga namatay. Doon sa 3.4 to 3.8% ng general case fatality rate, 80 to 90% mga matatanda. na meron mga pre-existing medical problems like cancer, diabetes, hypertension, renal disease. So ito po ang strategiya na gagawin po ng inyong departamento ay talagang tutukan po ang mga highly vulnerable population. Ito na nga po yung mga 60 years and above, especially with pre-existing medical conditions.
Sir, another question po. Where do we attribute yung sudden increase ng cases, sir?
Yung sudden increase ng, are you asking cases of the infection? It is,
Yes, sir.
ngayon kasi 142. Meron dalawang na dagdag from 140 as of last night. So, meron tayo yung community transmission. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi mo na po maiugnay doon sa meron bang positive history of travel sa COVID affected country, meron bang positive exposure to a positive COVID case. So wala nang gano'n. You can no longer link it to a history of travel, history of exposure. Ika nga, ando na sa komunidad. Meron na tinatawag na unlinkable clustering of cases. You can no longer, or untraceable chains of transmission. Yun po.
Kay Cabsex, sir, what about yung hotels?
No more.
No more. So what will happen dun sa mga naka-check-in sa hotels? Will you be forcing them out?
Well, so they live in other provinces, di ba? Or if they're within Luzon, then they will have to go back to their provinces. Pag Visayas, Mindanao, will
Well, actually, pagka-hotel, we will close them. Tapos sabi nga, as is where is, no? Kung siya ay isang stranded na hindi taga doon, we will make arrangement to the hotel owner kung gusto niya accommodate yun as yun yung quarantine area niya. At privately na yun. The hotel is closed, but some stranded foreigners or tourists na nag-decide siya na mag-stay na lang doon, privately, pwedeng mag-stay siya doon. Arrangement na lang sa hotel yun.
So, bawal staycation, sir, pag nasa Luzon.
Ang inyo pong narinig at napakinggan ay ang press conference na ibinigay po ng ilang cabinet secretaries. Kasunod nga po ng statement kanina ni Pangulong Duterte tungkol dito sa enhanced community quarantine para po sa buong Luzon. At nilinaw po ng ilang cabinet secretaries yung mga guidelines, klinaro po nila at ginawang mas specific yung mga pwede, yung mga papayagan at yung mga hindi papayagan. Ilan po dun sa mga binanggit, unang-una po, walang public transport na papayagan. Ititigil po lahat ng mass public transportation. Papayagan daw po yung mga private vehicles, pero ito ay yung para lang sa mga sasakyan ng mga exempted dito po sa home quarantine. Kasi home quarantine, tandaan nyo po yan po ang gustong mangyari, ipatupad ng gobyerno dito po sa mangyayaring enhanced community quarantine nga ho. Lahat gusto nila hanggat maaari ay nasa bahay. So, ibanggitin ko lang po, ituloy ko lang kung sino-sino yung mga exempted dito po sa home quarantine na pwede hong magdala o sumakay sa kanilang mga pribadong sasakyan. Ito po yung mga health workers, yung mga tiga-media na kailangan pong kumuha ng ID at ganun din po yung mga nagtatrabaho daw sa BPO, yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mga vital government offices, lalo na po yung siguro may kinalaman po sa supply ng kuryente, telcos, tubig na alam po naman natin kahit may home quarantine ay kailangan pa rin naman natin. Ayun nga ho, the idea, sabi po ni Secretary Nograles, is to put everybody on home quarantine. Ngayon ho, dun sa mga hindi nabanggit at dun sa mga nagdududa ho sa atin kung alin pa ang pwede o hindi, mas maganda raw ho, stay at home. When in doubt, stay at home na lang daw po. Kasi nga ho, ang layunin daw po nito ay para mapigilan ang pagkalat po nitong COVID-19 at mabawasan po yung pagdami ng mga kaso. Ito yung tinatawag nila ngayon na how to flatten the curve. Ibig sabihin, iwasan po yung biglang pagdami ng mga kaso. Sabi pa ho ni Secretary Nograles, in any case, every day, magmi-meeting po yung IATF, ito ho yung Interagency Task Force for COVID-19, no? Mag-meeting daw ho sila daily at i-evaluate po nila yung sitwasyon at kung po pwede ay i-adjust po itong mga guidelines. Si Secretary Guevara po naman ng Department of Justice, nilinaw na pwede ho daw arestuhin. May mga ilang pagkakataon na pwede pa ring arestuhin ng PNP at ng AFP, yung mga nagmamando ho ng mga checkpoint, etc. Pwede hong arestuhin yung mga nagre-resist ng arrest. Yung mga makakagawa ng direct assault laban sa ating mga uniformadong personnel, no? Yung mga pulis at saka yung mga sundalo. At yung serious disobedience daw, yung pong mga hindi susunod. So hinihiling po ni Secretary Guevara na hanggat maaari makipag-cooperate na lang daw po tayo sa ating mga otoridad, sa ating mga pulis at sa ating mga sundalo na makikita nyo sa inyong mga kalsada. This is something temporary lang naman daw po and for our own good. Ang PNP at ang AFP, inulit po ni Secretary Guevara yung unahong nabanggit ni Pangulong Duterte na ang ating mga pulis at ang ating mga sundalo ay hindi raw ho natin kaaway. Sila po ay ating mga protektor para po matulungan tayo dito po sa krisis na ito. Sinabi po naman ni Secretary Nograles, no, na in effect, ito ho yata he's citing yung statement ni Secretary Anyo ng DILG na dahil nga po gusto nila nasa bahay lang po tayo, in effect, may 24-hour curfew. Pero papayagan naman daw po yung isang miyembro ng ating mga pamilya kung kinakailangan bumili ng pagkain, ng gamot, papayagan daw po. Yun nga lang, wala hong public transport. So, kung kailangan may kailangan bumili ng pagkain at gamot, maglalakad. Pero pwede ho yan kung may mga pribadong sasakyan. Yun nga lang ho, isang tao lang ho ang papayagan daw. Sabi naman po ni Secretary Duque, yung plano ho ng gobyerno na gawing COVID hospital sana, yung lung center para nandun lang sila sa isang ospital, hindi pa ho po pwede at this point. Pero ang magandang balita ho, sabi ni Secretary Duque, dadating na yung mas maraming test kits para mas marami ho ang matest at nang sa gayon magamot at sana matulad ho tayo sa South Korea. Ano po? Kasi South Korea, test lang sila ng test, maraming test, mas kakaunti ho yung casualty. Hindi ho katulad ng mga nangyayari sa bansa ng Europa ngayon na nag-lockdown ho sila, kulang ang test kits nila, mas malaki ho yung casualty. So, ang magandang balita, sabi ni Secretary Duque, mas marami hong test kits na dadating at magagamit din yung test kit na inimbento ng isang alumni ng UP. At kung yon at yung test kit ng RITM ay pareho po ang resulta, talagang maganda raw hong balita yon kasi mas mapaparami pa, madadagdagan pa yung mga test kits na magagamit. Nang sa gayon malaman natin kung sino-sino po sa atin ang may COVID-19. Banggitin ko lang, nabanggit po yung mga bangko, yung mga remittance centers, bukas daw ho yan. At sabi pa rin ho ni Secretary Anyo, pwede pang mag-identify ng ibang quarantine center para dun po sa mga asymptomatic na may COVID-19. Yung mga wala pang pinapakitang symptom. Nang sa gayon, yung ating mga ospital, na hirap po sa ngayon dahil sa dami po ng kanilang mga pasyente at yung mga iba pa may COVID-19. Nang sa gayon ay matulungan yung ating mga ospital to cope. No? Ito ho, importante dun sa mga international passengers. Sabi po ni Secretary Nograles, 72 hours from now, ibig sabihin 3 araw ho mula ngayon, pwede pa ang international flights palabas ng bansa, pwede rin pong papasok tatanggapin pa, lalo na yung mga Filipino citizens, pati na yung kanilang mga pamilya kung ito po yung mga dayuhan. No? As of midnight tonight, yun nga lang ho, sarado na po ang mga border ng Luzon. Hindi na po pwede yung biyahe. No ho? Basically, yun po ang binanggit dyan po sa press conference ng ilang cabinet secretaries to clarify yun pong statement o yung pahayag po ni Pangulong Duterte kanina na ang buong Luzon ay nasa ilalim na po ngayon ng enhanced community quarantine. Mas stricto na po, mas malawakan na po yung pagpapapigil sa atin na lumabas ng ating mga tahanan. Hindi ho katulad nung general quarantine na nakita ho natin ngayong araw na ito na marami pa rin nagsipasukan. Dahil maraming nagsipasukan, nagkumpul-kumpul yung mga tao dun sa mga checkpoint, hindi po nasunod yung social distancing. Ayaw na ho daw nilang mangyari yon. Mas gusto nila na lahat tayo hanggat maaari ay nasa bahay lang, pero yung mga kailangan naman talagang pumasok, meron pong exemptions. At yan po ang mga balitang dapat nyong malaman, sumasalamin sa katotohanan sa ating bayan. Para sa Pilipino, ingat ho tayong lahat mga kapuso. Ako si Jessica Soho at ito ang State of the Nation.